So the next episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, is called When the Bough Breaks. It's just kind of like rockabye, baby, on the treetop. When the bough breaks, all your children will be kidnapped by aliens. It starts, they're like amazed that there's like this planet that they thought was a legend, but in fact it just appeared randomly because this planet has a cloaking shield, so no one can see it unless they want you to see them. And so they've turned off their cloaking shield so you can come see. And we're like, hey, how's it going? And some of them beam on board the ship and they're like, oh my gosh, such bright light here. I have sensitive eyes. And they're like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then they go, they go down to the planet and they're like, hey, so this woman who's sort of slightly younger than everyone else is the last kid that was ever born on this planet. Can we borrow some of your kids? And then we can continue our culture, because our culture is awesome. We are legendary. Great. And Picard's like, I don't think anyone's going to just give children to you. But this is kind of weird because I think even in the 24th century, there must be children that need homes that don't have any. But he doesn't even explore that. He's like, nope, you can't have any of our kids. Forget about it. So the next thing that happens is they just take a whole bunch of kids and shut down the communication so you can't talk to them and stuff. They have, so they take Wesley, they take a kid who bumped into Riker in the hallway. Because at the beginning of the episode, Riker's walking down the hallway and there's this 8-year-old boy and he bumps into Riker's leg and then Riker limps for a scene. And then he's fine. Because that kid does not like taking calculus and he was running away from math class, basically. That is not important to the episode. What is important is that they're kidnapped. So the one girl is very musical. She's blonde and she's playing a harp. And when she gets disappeared, the harp falls down, clunk. And she's going to be a musician when she grows up. And then there's this little kid, I don't know what her potential is, but she has a stuffed Tribble and is very cute. So they're all down on the planet and they get assigned new parents. And they're like, we don't really want new parents because we already have parents. And Wesley is the oldest one there and feeling pretty self-conscious. And he's like, we already have parents, but thanks. So the blonde girl gets to go be with an older man who is a musician, and because they somehow know what these children have the potential of being because of their awesome technology, I suppose. And the old man has this sort of Simon Says machine that if you touch it, it will make the music that's in your soul. So that is great. And so she is doing it, and it's got this sort of, I don't know, music coming out, and he's like, that music's awesome, but maybe this next time play a happy music. And she's like, I don't feel happy. I want my mommy. And then the one kid who doesn't like calculus, he's apparently he's got nice parents. He's got a dad and a mom who are his fake parents, and they are artists. And he's like, you're an artist too. Use this torch and build a doll, build a sculpture out of this torch. And so he makes it, and it's a magic technology torch, so even without any practice or any skill really, he's able to make a perfect dolphin. And they're like, great, what is that? And he's like, it's a dolphin. My dad is an oceanographer. I mean, you're my dad. Never mind, I'm not talking about my parents. So sad, I miss my dad. And then he, the other Wesley has parents who are like the leaders of the whole place, because he is going to be the leader of the whole place, because that's his potential. Even though I thought he was a genius about warp mechanics and stuff, but apparently he's a leader as well. And him and his fake mommy, I guess, go into a room that's for it's like the computer room, and it's got a guy. It's not a guy, it's a computer with the voice of a guy, and it's called the custodian. And you can just ask the custodian anything you want, and he will just answer you, and he provides everything the society needs. And he's like, and Wesley's like, what do you do when you want to like maintain the computer? And he's like, they're like, we don't do that because we don't know anything about technology, but it works, so we're fine. He's like, but you have to be able to fix the computer sometimes. Where's your IT department? I could be your IT department, except I'm not staying here because I don't want to live here. And she's like, we don't need an IT department. We've got the custodian. He provides everything. We don't have anyone who's good at technology. We are all very dumb. And Wesley uses the machine to be shown all of the different children from the Enterprise who were kidnapped. And they're like, okay, everyone's doing okay. There was the little girl, the little cute girl with the tribble. She was supposed to go with some other family, but the woman, the one who's the last child ever born on the planet, she decides she wants to keep her for herself and is playing with her and her tribble for most of the episode. At the when it's like nighttime, the Wesley goes to the custodian and he whispers, let's go find the children. So he finds all the children and he brings them into the cafeteria and they all sit around a table. And he's like, we are on strike. We are not going to eat or drink until they bring us back to the Enterprise with our families. And they're like, got it. And they bring them food, and the little girl wants to reach for it, and Wesley's like, no. Because this is a way of saying that we don't want to be here. So they're on hunger strike. They will not eat or drink. So the leader of the planet, who has like flung the Enterprise away using magic powers, he calls them up and is like, we need your help because the Enterprise children, who are our kids now, not yours, are sitting there and they're not eating and they're on hunger strike. And Picard's like, yeah, I mean, okay. We just want to negotiate. We want to get our kids back. So can I come down to the planet? And he's like, sure. And he's like, I'm going to bring Dr. Crusher because that's a regulation. I have to bring Dr. Crusher. Even though there is no regulation, he just wants to bring Dr. Crusher so she can see her kid. So he's like, they come down, and on the down low, because Dr. Crusher gives Wesley a hug and gives him like the part of her medical tricorder that scans, and he's like talking to her, but also like scanning people like in the secret, like very obviously, but they don't notice because they're all dumb, as we established before. And she gives his mom the thing, and they're like, they go back to the ship, they analyze their results, and they find out everybody's dying of radiation poisoning. They have horrible radiation poisoning. This is why they're sensitive to bright light. This is why they can't have kids. And if the kids stay on the planet, they also won't be able to have kids because of the radiation poisoning. And they're like, oh, first they're like, they tell them this. They say, hey, you have radiation poisoning. You're poisoning our kids. Give us our kids back. He's like, no, it's a trick. You're just trying to get your kids back. And they're like, no, you are sick. And by the way, we will fix you so that you can have your own kids. And they're like, oh, that sounds good. So they go to the room with the computer and they open the door. And inside is a super gigantic glowing red thing that's releasing all kinds of radiation and that's killing everybody, but is also providing all the cool technological stuff these guys have. So they decide they're going to turn that off, and they'll have to learn to do things for themselves, and their whole society will just like change dramatically. But they won't die of radiation poisoning, and they don't need extra kids because they'll be able to have their own. So from now on, they're not going to have a cloaking device on their planet, and so everyone will be able to see them, and they won't be a legend anymore. But the good news is they give all the kids back. And at the end, little 8-year-old who doesn't like calculus is like, I want to be an artist, and I don't want to take calculus. And his dad's like, you can be anything you want, but you still have to take calculus. And then the little girl with the Tribble doll comes to thank Captain Picard on the bridge for bringing her home, and he's like very uncomfortable because he's still in that stage where he's like, I don't like kids, and the child gives him a hug and sticks her Tribble doll on his back, and there is no way she did not do this on purpose, and she leaves with Wesley, and everybody laughs and laughs because Picard has a Tribble stuck to his back. And that is the end of When the Bough Breaks. Bye!